Dot, where the world makes a little more sense one story at a time. Who let the dogs out? Governments, citizens, and courts mull over stray dogs. Looks like man's relationship with his best friend is going through a rough patch. At least, that's what several headlines from this month seem to suggest. RWAs ask the government to take steps to tackle stray dog menace. Delhi High Court asks state government to frame policy on rehabilitating stray dogs. Delhi government looking for long-term solution to stray dog menace, says CM Rekha Gupta. So, is the stray dog situation really getting worse? What do the courts and the law have to say about it? And is there a way to deal with it that's both legal and compassionate? Let's dig in. Strained leashes. Stray dog, street dog, community dog, free ranging dog. They all more or less mean the same thing. If you've ever, and you certainly have, spotted a dog sleeping near a chai stall, chasing kids in the park, or just lounging by the roadside, you know who we're talking about. These dogs technically belong to no one, or maybe to everyone. And some might ask, why should they have to belong to anyone at all? Most of these stray dogs belong to a breed known as the Indian pariah dog. The name comes from the Tamil word pariyar, referring to a historically marginalized caste. British colonials used pariah more broadly to refer to an outcast, and the term found its way to these dogs as well. These dogs have likely lived in India for over 14,000 years. They are remarkably hardy and perfectly suited to our climate, low maintenance, intelligent, and often friendly. No surprise then that India is home to over 6 crore of them. That's more than the human population of countries like Italy or Spain. One reason why they've survived and even thrived is a general sense of community acceptance, or at least tolerance. Kids play with them, shopkeepers feed them from leftovers, watchmen pat their heads. In return, the dogs give them security, love, and companionship. In some parts of India, during Kukur Tihar, street dogs are garlanded and honored. Every dog literally has its day. Another reason why their population has grown is more structural. Open garbage, our streets are full of edible waste, which provides an endless buffet for these free roaming dogs. Of course, there's another side to this story too. Some of these dogs growl at joggers, chase scooters down the road, or howl well into the night. And sometimes they bite. While some bites are provoked, caused by teasing or threats, many seem to happen unprovoked at unsuspecting passerby. Over 10,000 people are bitten by dogs in India every single day, and that number is steadily rising. It's not something we can ignore anymore. A deeper concern linked to this is rabies. It's caused by a virus that affects the brain and nervous system. It spreads through the saliva of an infected animal, mostly dogs, but also bats, cats, or monkeys. If you're bitten, it's critical to get a series of injections right away. Because once symptoms appear, which include hydrophobia, fear of water due to throat spasms, there's no cure. It is almost always fatal, and the rabid dog dies too. According to the WHO, India accounts for 36% of the world's rabies deaths. So, while the moral question of how to deal with street dogs is hotly debated, let's turn to what has and can be done legally. Laws of the paws. For decades, most Indian cities harshly tackled the stray dog issue by killing them, or theriocide as it's formally called. In fact, in 1832, the British administration in Bombay implemented a policy of culling stray dogs, which sparked one of the first riots in the city. The Bombay Dog Riots was led by the Parsi community who revere dogs. Only in 2001 did the Animal Birth Control or ABC rules effectively ban the killing of stray dogs, except in specific, humane circumstances. And not just because it's inhumane, but because it doesn't really work well. When some dogs are eliminated, the rest thrive because of better access to food and space. That leads to more mating, more puppies, and higher survival rates. In fact, mass culling of dogs is ineffective and can be counterproductive to rabies vaccination programs. Don't take our word for it, that's what the WHO says. Okay, If killing strays is neither ethical nor effective, what about simply relocating them elsewhere? Well, that's not legal either. As per the Animal Welfare Board of India, under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, it is illegal for individuals or RWAs to forcibly remove or drive away stray dogs to another area. Animal cruelty is punishable under Indian law. So, what does the law say we should do? The only legal means of reducing stray dog populations and the risk of rabies is CNVR. That means stray dogs must be caught, neutered, vaccinated, and then returned to the same area. Here's how it works. First, dogs are humanely caught with nets or by hand. Metal tongs or wires aren't allowed. Then they're taken to a shelter or clinic where they are sterilized, also called spaying or neutering, meaning they undergo a surgery that prevents them from reproducing. This not only helps control the population, but also tends to make them calmer and less aggressive. At the same time, they are vaccinated, especially against rabies. This protects both the dogs and any humans they might come into contact with. Strays receive a single rabies shot during the sterilization process and ideally a booster every year after that, though this doesn't always happen in practice. They are then marked with a small notch on one ear and, more importantly, returned to the same locality they were picked up from. Why? Because dogs are territorial. They defend their area and stop new unsterilized dogs from entering. This helps keep the population stable and rabies in check. Once CNVR is done, over time the stray dog population stabilizes and gradually declines. Dogs stop fighting, mating, and spreading rabies. But that's the theory. In practice, the implementation has often fallen short. Barking up a different tree. The reason why CNVR fails in our country is because many cities lack the infrastructure, budget, or trained staff to sustain the program. On top of that, our waste management issues fuel the reproduction of strays. And when the official systems don't work, frustration spills over and people take matters into their own hands. In some places, this leads to vigilante style responses with mobs beating dogs to death or hiring unlicensed catchers to do the job. Some RWAs try to evict stray dogs or ban feeding them. Animal lovers push back. Legally speaking, there is no law prohibiting the feeding of stray dogs, whether inside or outside gated colonies. Some might even argue that citizens who choose to do so are performing a fundamental duty towards animal compassion cast upon them by the Constitution. Practically speaking, feeding strays can actually reduce animal human conflict and help facilitate CNVR, as such dogs are friendlier and easy to catch. Courts have weighed in too. A couple of years back, the Bombay High Court ruled that RWAs and housing societies cannot restrict the feeding of community animals or threaten or penalize individuals who do so. But the legal position remains murky. This month, in a separate case, the Supreme Court remarked, "We should leave every lane, every road open for these large hearted people. There is all the space for these animals, no space for humans. Why don't you feed them in your own house? Nobody is stopping you." So, what now? Well, we might be seeing early signs of a policy rethink. The Delhi High Court has asked the state government to come up with a new policy that rehabilitates stray dogs at an institutional level, rather than putting them back on the streets after sterilization. And the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, or MCD, plans to set up 12 shelters, one in each zone of the city, to house these strays. The aim is to provide strays with designated spaces to stay and increase their chances of adoption. What the Animal Welfare Board of India makes of this approach remains to be seen. The Netherlands is a great example of what's possible. They have almost eliminated stray dogs. One of their clever strategies was to impose heavy taxes on buying pedigreed dogs from pet stores. This encouraged people to adopt from shelters instead. Simple, elegant, and effective. But we don't have to wait for a policy change. If you're thinking of getting a dog, why not open your heart and home to an indie? They're smart, low maintenance, and waiting for someone like you. If the story made you think, share it and spark a conversation.